Ready to move on with the one final presentation? Richa joined Google in 2008 and worked on products like Google Mapmaker, Gboard, Hello Google Translate, and many more. She's an architect and did her studies from IIT Roorkee, India. She believes in the magic that can be created by the passionate souls. She resonates with Google's mission: organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Ladies and gentlemen, Google, Crowdsource, and machine intelligence.
Google Crowdsource. Here's Richa Singh.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I know everyone has to repeat this because, yes, we all think everybody is sleepy, but yes, a few more hours, I guess. Okay. We saw a lot of presentations today who spoke about AI, the scope of it, the potential, what it can do, mostly from the technical aspect. I'll be covering something which is the backside of it, right? What do you think is most important for AI? Any answers? So we have some schwags for the people who will raise the hand, stand up, and give an answer. Okay, we have someone there. Absolutely right. So, yeah. Okay, next question. We all use internet. What do you think is the most prominent or the dominant language on internet? Answers? English? Okay, so what percentage of internet would be English? Any answers? Yes, just wild guess. Guys, we have t-shirts. Just vague answers. Sorry, I can't hear. Okay, so we have 55% of the internet in English, but only 5% of the entire population in globe speaks English. So we can see like how much difference, how much gap is there. And the 90% of the internet is only 10 languages. So we can see that again, like only 90%, only 10 languages is constituting to the 90% of the web. So there's a lot of scope in a lot of long tail languages which can actually contribute a lot and help build internet for the people speaking those languages. So Google is all about organizing the data and making it universally accessible to all. So if we see there's a stark difference between the people that we are trying to show here, people from the urban area versus rural area, right? So we want to have the entire data available in all languages, covering all genders, having all languages available for everyone. Knowledge is dark as long as it is not shared by anyone, right? So I still remember when my grandmom used to tell me what to eat, what to drink when I'm getting cough and cold. So if that data is not getting transferred to the people in the coming generations, that actually goes into the Pandora's box, which is the dark knowledge. So we want to have an opportunity, have a product which gives an opportunity to each and every individual, be it literate, be it illiterate, to be able to provide this information which can be useful, which can be proven useful to anybody, to everybody on the entire globe, irrespective of their caste, creed, religion, gender, anything. So we want this entire data to be inclusive and diverse in nature. poverty is an information problem, right? So there is an example in Rwanda in 2012. There were a lot of people who were dying with malaria, and unfortunately, they were not even aware that what is malaria, or what is the treatment of it, what is the, I mean, how they can actually, what are the symptoms of that. Then finally, there were some government initiatives that were taken during that time, and after those initiatives, it was 75% cut down in the death rate. So we want the entire data set which is available on internet, which actually helps drive AI to build models. The cool examples that we saw in the previous presentation, right? I mean, how the music is being created, right? So what do you think is all about that, right? I mean, we need to have data. The models are yes, but before that we need to have the raw data from the real users who can help train the model. So I'll give you an example of MapMaker. How many of you have heard about MapMaker? Okay, quite a few. So MapMaker was Google product, which was the editable version of Google Maps. It was a cartographic tool which allowed the users to add, delete, modify any information on Google Maps, right? So there was a time when only maps in US were really in good quality, but then any other country in the entire globe, we did not have the digital maps. I still remember one example when I had joined Google. It was like soon after the launch of MapMaker, Myanmar floods came in, right? And it was within 48 hours, the group of product managers, program managers, software engineers, operational folks, and users, the real users, right, who mapped the entire Myanmar, all the road infrastructure. It not only helped us to know, okay, where the water would be flowing down because of the topographic structure, but also we were able to identify places. All the communication channels were cut down there. So these maps help us find, with the human intelligence here, help us identify the places where these people would have actually taken shelter. Those pagodas where like the huge spaces are there. It helped Myanmar government to actually drop those food packets, right, which was nearly impossible for them otherwise to identify without this raw data provided by the real users, right? So this is the gap where the word was in 2005. If you see the yellow portion, this is all the lit images of the infrastructure, the road infrastructure or the point of interest that was mapped of the available geography. It was only one simple idea: give the power to the users. So the MapMaker team was formed, wherein it allowed the users to, like I mentioned, to modify any information. So we made it crowdsourced, crowd curated, crowd disseminated, and we made it real time. So as soon as any user makes any edit in the entire globe anywhere, it gets reflected on mapmaker.google.com. Yes, there were other things in place, how to fight the spam, how to make sure that yes, the information that we are getting is right or not, or wrong. So yes, there came the role of artificial intelligence, right? We build models which fight the spam. We identify the users who have the history of adding good data versus bad data, and we penalize the user or kind of add the points to their to the scorecard if the user is doing really good. So here I'll play a video. It is a city called Karachi in Pakistan. It will actually show the impact of crowdsource. So can we please play the video? Just see like how the data is getting added there. See how beautifully the roads are being added. I think there is a latency issue here. Can we just play from the folder itself? Okay, here it goes. So if you see, over the period of time, there's a timestamp which is coming down, and within a few months itself, the entire city is mapped. Right from almost scratch to we have all the highways, we have all the arterial roads, we have minor roads, we have river bodies, we have the internal roads, neighborhood names, petrol pumps, and all the other important, where are bus stations, where are railway stations. So all this is mapped by users like you and me. And why this data is authentic? Because you are the best person who would be knowing what is going in your backyard, right? I would not know that where was this cultural center, but yes, Google Maps was able to tell me that yes, it's right in front of Sampan Bank, or Sampan Bank is right in front of this, vice versa, right? So this kind of information which we are getting directly from users is all known as crowdsource, which actually helps us build our AI models. Okay, go back to the slide. By the time it gets fixed, crowdsource is being used in a lot of products, right? There are a lot of user communities, be it YouTube, be it Google Translate, Google Maps, we saw one, Waze, then a lot of Google products, like even in Allo or any product that you see, or in Magenta, TensorFlow, the raw data is the most important thing that we need. Okay. So here we see this was talking about Pakistan, where there were some issues because of the floods, and how Google Mapmaker was able to help the government and the UN to help come out of that situation. And the word lit up for the another 1.5 million. Now if you see all the yellow portions and compare it with the previous one, you can see that within a couple of years, how much difference we could make for the people who are staying in this society. Now I'll come to Google Crowdsource. Crowdsource is basically a verb which allows the users to kind of contribute together for the common cause, and then use that particular data to train a particular thing. Google Crowdsource is a product. How many of you have heard about Google Crowdsource? Okay, we have quite a few. Can anyone just in 2 sentences tell about what it is? Yeah, I see someone there in a red shirt probably. Google Crowdsource is a platform, is a product which gives users a lot of micro tasks and a lot of entertaining tasks. It takes only 3 to 5 seconds of your time, and you can actually contribute a lot in that. So like I mentioned, AI, how does it happen? Data is collected in the form of teaching set to train the algorithm. So we know how it works, we know how it doesn't work. So both kind of data, the false alarms are equally important for an individual, for the AI to understand what should not work. So if we have cat with 3 eyes, definitely we should be able to tell the AI that yes, this is a wrong picture, and we should not be identifying a cat with 3 eyes as the right picture. So I want to play another video which actually shows the power and the impact of the Translate community, again wherein we had a lot of users who have contributed to the noble cause. Can you please play the video? How many of you uses Google Translate here? A lot of you.
More than 100 billion words are translated every day.
Lift your hand.
Thank you very much for your help.
ご協力いただきありがとうございます。
Words about food, words about friendship, about sport, about belief, about fear.
Oh my God.
Words that can hurt and sometimes divide. But every day, the most translated words in the world are "How are you?" "Thank you," and "I love you."
So the most common translated word is I love you in all the languages. So it talks the language of love. Slides, please. Okay. So how many of you know what is this? Please raise your hands. Okay, so these are the images for dosa. Yes, a very simple guess. No marks for guessing it. So in order to teach AI what is a dosa, how does it look like, right? It can be in any shape. It can be a triangular shape, it can be a circular shape, it can be long, it can be short, it can be elongated, right? So we need to give a lot of information regarding that. Yes, this is dosa, right? But which variety of dosa is this? Any guesses? Yeah. Sorry? No, this is masala dosa. Okay, so this is what we see, right? I mean, we need to tell the AI how it works. And it holds true for each and everything. So until unless we have someone who is really passionate about that particular topic, who's really an expert in that particular topic, you would not be able to teach the AI, right? So we can have individuals, we can have vendors who can do this kind of data, but then no, I mean they would not be passionate enough to do this kind of to provide this kind of good data. Right now, if you search on internet, right, show me the wedding photographs or like the bride, mostly you would see a lady with a white veil and all, right? You would not see a lot of brides from Sri Lanka in your traditional outfit. The same happens with India. So I might be seeing a lot of brides from North India, but I might not be seeing the brides in the traditional outfit of South India or East India or West India. So until and unless we have all this inclusive data available on web, we would not be able to train the AI well, and we would not be able to provide the entire diverse set of images. So like we saw, likewise it goes for all the stationaries. A stapler pin, for example, looks very different in Switzerland versus in India. Sellotape in India looks very different than what it used to be in US before. Now things are changing, but it holds true for a lot of other things as well, right? Whom are you helping? So here will be a list of the products which actually gets benefited if you work on Google Crowdsource. So Street View. I'm sure almost everyone here uses Google Maps. So there's another feature, and we heard Ten also talking about that when the street maps or Street View, right? I mean, if you are using Google Maps, it's not just about which road, east, west, north, south, what is the name of the locality, or is it 4-lane, 2-lane, and things like that. But it also needs a lot of other identifiable things from it, right? So it becomes even more easier for you to take turns if it tells you, okay, you have to take left from the McDonald's, right? So if you are able to see that huge M written in the corner of the road, you know, okay, you do not have to apply brains and you know that you have to take a left from there. So similarly, for many other examples we would have seen, right? So all this data we are collecting via Google Crowdsource. And the same data goes into the model to help improve the navigation model for maps. Another example would be camera and photos and image search, right? Can we focus on the... I'm sorry, I think a lot of transition is actually killing a lot of time, but that's important to show. screen visible to all? Okay. So, say for example, if I search for a rainbow photograph in all my photos that I would have taken over the period of years, I see a couple of photographs in my folder. If you see there is a rainbow there. Similarly, if you search for, say for example, ice cream, so you see a lot of photographs, the real photographs, as well as the cake bake day, and probably it's related to that. So the AI was able to identify that it's related to the ice cream, right? And then we see a lot of other things as well. Okay, one last example that we got. If I'm looking for a dog, right, it is able to show me a few photographs which are dog related. Definitely. Yes, there's a dog sitting here. But then this lion is definitely not a dog. Right? So AI, yes, is working really well in these photographs, tools and many other things. But then there are examples like this as well that yes, we can say it's not 100% there yet. So we have to keep feeding a lot of data, and we should be having the ability to tell the AI, yes, this is not a dog, this is a lion. So it knows that yes, what not to consider as lion, dog. Back. Voice search, if we see on Google Maps, it works really well now. And then many others, like on Google Assistant, Google Search, and it is the best aids toward accessibility. So these days, I'm also working with a lot of blind users who are using screen reader to be able to read. So when we say that we have to make internet available for each and every user, inclusive, then we are also talking about people who have vision disability or any other kind of disability. So these kind of tools, when we are building, it is also helping that minor segment of users as well. So like I mentioned, people who do not know the language, the local language, at least that particular thing is helping them understand which area they are in. Okay, so Google Crowdsource, this is how the UI looks like. Again, this. I'll give it. So this is the app, and if you see, these are some tiny micro tasks available. Here you can actually choose the languages as well. I have chosen Hindi and English, Hindi being my native language, and there are very simple tasks on this. You can choose a few categories here. For example, symmetry, I know not a very good example, but then, yeah. So can symmetry be one of the labels for this image? I don't think so. This definitely no. This maybe, but I'm not too sure of, so I can skip it. So if you see, it's like only taking a very few seconds and you are able to contribute for a much better cause. There are other categories as well, so this is the sentiment evaluation. So if you nowadays, like developers, right? When do you want, you would want to see what feedback are you getting from the users. There'll be a point of time where you'll be getting 100 of reviews from the users, and there should be an ability for you to see what are the positive feedbacks and what are the negative feedbacks. So this particular thing would be able to help in that, wherein when you read the sentence, you should be able to tell if it is a positive comment or a negative comment or a neutral comment, right? For example, a sentence can be, this computer is as good as a 1980 computer. Right? So even though there is a word called good, but then 1980 computers, so it's a sarcastic comment, and we should be able to train the AI on that, right? So even though sentence sounds positive, but the intent of the sentence is more sarcastic in nature, so it has to be a negative thing. Handwriting recognition. So yes, it allows the users to type in there who are not very proficient in using the keyboards. Then a lot of those things are pretty common. So this is the most recent category that we have added, which is the image capture. And just to tell you, this is the open source, which allows the developers to have access to thousands and millions of photographs that would be submitted by users, which comes in the common creative license of 4, and you can use it for any of your research as well. So very simple thing. If, for example, I take a photo, and I can just upload it, saying I and it gets uploaded. So, and it's really very fun activity, and here you can actually see your achievements, what level are you at, how many badges you have got, and things like that. And we have a very active community in Sri Lanka as well, and I'll make you meet them as well. Okay, so now we see the communities that we have. We have a very active Google Crowdsource Sri Lanka community, which is being run by these wonderful souls who are sitting right here in the first row. Okay. We have these communities in many other locations. In India, definitely a lot of presence in Asia Pacific. This year, we are expanding to Latin America as well. So anyone of you who wants to be a part of this, please get in touch with our local champions here. Richard, do you want to come here and share your experience? Okay, just come over. Just come over. Just come over. Just come over. Come over. So, Christian, along with his local team and the team of members, they are our local champions. Anyone who wants to be a part of Google Crowdsource, please get in touch with him. And so he's a rock star. Yeah, please.
මම තිෂාන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා Google Crowdsource එකේ representative විදියට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ වැඩ කරනවා volunteer විදියට Google Crowdsource එකේදී අපි ලංකාවේදී localizing part එක තමයි ගොඩක්ම කරන්නේ එතනදී අපි image capturing එතකොට handwriting එතකොට translation ඒ වගේ සිංහල දෙමළ කියන languages වලට අදාළව localizing part එක තමයි වැඩිපුරම කරන්නේ අපි එතකොට ලංකාව ඇතුළත මේ වෙනකොට අපේ community එක තුල අපි විශාල දේවල් ප්‍රමාණයක් කරලා තියෙනවා ඒ අතර IIT එක SLIT එක NSPM SPIAT එතකොට සපරගම යුනිවර්සිටි ඒ වගේ යුනිවර්සිටිස් වල අපි පොඩි කැම්පේන් කරලා ලංකාවේ නම top 10 contributors countries වලදී අපි ගෙනල්ලා තියෙනවා ඒ අතර අද Google I/O එකේ පොඩි event එකක් කරා Google I/O Dialog එකත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා වැඩ කරන්න අපේ ලංකාවේ තියෙන languages barriers නැති කරලා ඉස්සරහට වැඩ කරමු කියලා ඉල්ලමින් මම ස්තුතියි.
So just a few more images. So we keep conducting these kind of summits, and then we invite our product managers and the community members get a chance, or the top contributors and the influencers get a chance to meet the Googlers. So a lot of these images are there. Bangladesh, Mumbai in India, Indore, Nepal, Malaysia. This was the Hyderabad summit that we conducted a couple of weeks back. Thank you. And if you have any questions, there is an email ID. Please feel free to drop a line and we would be happy to answer. Thank you.